Welcome to Who You Callin' Bruh,
a podcast about faith, family, and fun.
My name is Jay,
And I'm his daughter, Anna.
and we have returned what feels like a long time since we recorded our last episode.
Legit, and we're late. Oops.
Yeah, our bad. So it was a combination of life circumstances plus major world events that caused us to wait until this is a
now we're
Wednesday to
here.
record. Probably drops on a Thursday. So
Yeah, so basically, yeah.
also, our lives are, and knowing our schedule coming up, let's just assume that over the next month or two, holidays, whatnot, the schedule might get a little irregular.
But we're going to try.
We're going to try. We're going to do our best.
By that, I think we can still make once a week, probably. It just might not be on a Tuesday.
Right. We'll see. We'll see what we can
You
do.
know what? We'll post whenever the heck we want, and then y'all can just pop in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, y'all aren't very responsive to us anyway.
Literally, we always ask for feedback, and not like we get like 3 people's.
Yeah. So we pretty much just like spend most of the time crying. We should do a whole episode of us crying.
Literally 30
about
minutes
how
of just sobbing, being
nobody
like,
will
"Please."
write us.
Hey,
and
what if nobody did still? I would just cancel. I'd low-key just be like,
That's exactly what should happen. I feel like, first of all, let me say, my intention when we started this podcast was to utilize those sound effects more, and I feel like I never remember to hardly.
and I need to start. I need
Because
to
you say
bring them
stuff
back.
all the time where I'm like, I don't even think that's the right one. That's what I was supposed to use.
Either one. I
Right.
don't even remember. Why do I sound like echoey? Okay, never mind. Let's begin.
We shall. We are covering our major topic today, as you've seen by now, probably in the podcast episode name, is the election. We are talking the day after a presidential election, so we'll get to that in a minute. But first,
Wait.
we are going to do, in case you don't remember the dance, we did show that dance on this, right?
I'm like almost confident.
I'm
yes,
pretty
we
sure
did.
we
Yes,
did.
we did.
Yes, TikTok dance. Anyway, we'll see if we have any feedback, and then Anna's got a story to tell
Do you
from
have a story to tell?
yesterday. So first of all, Anna,
guess-
do we have any feedback? Since we just criticized people for not
I
giving
actually
us
don't
feedback.
think so. We haven't. I don't think we have any feedback. But let me try to think.
Did anybody even say anything about us missing?
No, Miss Lindsay. I was waiting. She also has a stomach bug.
Yeah, exactly. She's sick, so
We
we're
pray for
sorry.
Miss Lindsay. We
Yeah.
love you. But like, let me think. I feel like it was someone's birthday recently. Oh, it's almost like it was yours.
That is true.
So you are 47 years of age.
That's right. Sunday, it was my birthday, and it was on church, so I
Happy
worked.
birthday.
I preached on Sunday
Good one.
morning, and then we came and got some food, and then I came back and watched the
Ooh.
Cowboys lose.
Wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
This is the funniest thing. So we went to Hibachi, right?
Oh,
And
that's
this
in the
guy-
evening time. Yeah.
Yeah, for dinner on his birthday. And this guy, he was cooking up the food, right? And he was trying to get us to catch it in our mouths. And Nana, I love you, right? But she was my favorite person because he's getting ready to throw it at her, and she shakes her head. She's like, no, right? And he throws it at her anyway, and it just hits her smack
She
dab in the
just
face.
stares right
she's literally
forward
just staring,
and just
it,
like bam.
and it was so funny. I literally couldn't. And
Yeah,
I
we all
to remember
tried.
my
and
head.
Yeah, it was no good. Yeah, it
It's
hit
so
off
funny.
the top of Anna's head,
But
and
like,
then of
I was
course,
too busy laughing from that previous one. It was so funny. She just shook her head, stared, and got attacked.
yeah,
He
right
did
in the
not
head.
care.
yeah, it was a
So
headshot. It definitely, as a guy, that guy was an assassin with chicken.
Yeah, he did not. He was like, no, yes, like, too funny.
She's like, well, too bad. It's coming at you anyway.
Yeah. So wait,
Mm-hmm.
literally yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, I was scheduled to get a root canal, right?
Oh, yes, that's right. Other big event.
Yes, and I do not like needles or dental work at all. So this was a really big issue for me, right?
Right.
So sitting there in my
Let us know if
chair-
you
Relate.
Is that you too? Can you relate to Anna? Do
Can
you
relate.
have dental anxiety?
yeah, or needles or anything, right?
Yes.
Luckily, my hygienist and the doctor were so incredible. But I'm laying there, right? I'm like just crying. I cried the second I got into the dentist office, even in the waiting room, right? And so I have my little Bible verse and all of that, right? And so they're going to do the shots, and I was like, I've got this. It took me like 10 minutes to get the first one, okay? And so he does the first one. First of all, I thought a shot literally is like, boom, right? Tell me why we counted out loud and it took 30 seconds. I'm like, bro, how slow do you have to be going for it to take 30 seconds, right? And then all of a sudden I just felt like my whole numb, just like mouth shoot like numb. Horrible, right? And I'd asked my mom, I was like, there's only one, right? And she's like, yeah. And the doctors just kind of like looked up and laughed at each other. And I knew my fate was done. So after I got through the first one, he was like, you do in fact have another one. But they handled it so well. And like they were tricking my mind to where they were like, I was done 10 seconds ago. And I was like, hey.
Nice.
So that was pretty nice. And then after that, right, go through the normal procedure. But then about halfway, bro decides to change his mind. And he's like, no, actually, you don't need a root canal. We're just going to put some medicine down there and like fill it.
Nice.
What do you mean? And then I have to go back and get like 7 other fillings.
More fillings,
Yikes.
but much smaller, not as big a deal fillings.
Okay, but like,
I
I
know.
guess.
It's still not fun.
And the fact that I have that many, it's those braces, bro. Braces are so horrible.
Braces. But they are gone. And now, so the moral of the story is good dental hygiene, people.
Yeah.
And get the nitrous, the gas.
Oh, yeah, that was helpful too. But I really felt like that was an important story to share because it like scarred me for weeks. Like if you interacted with me in the past like 5 days, I told you about it.
That's
like
right.
my teachers was like, bro, I'm so nervous. And then I had to come back today and was like, so I actually didn't even get one.
After all that. But
Yeah.
you did. I mean, you did have a procedure done. So
Yeah, and the shots were what I was like most worried about. And I did make it through those like pretty well. Definitely better than last time.
yeah. Good.
Yeah.
High five.
Woo.
I'll give you one of these. Well, and no, I'm sorry,
Good
not
one.
that.
You're trying to do the
Yeah, that is what I was doing.
Yeah.
Dang it.
good one.
What color is that? Is that
Orange. It's like
red
coral.
orange?
That's red. That's like orange.
That's orange.
It's like orange, red, orange, yellow, yellowish green, greenish blue.
Oh, I see. It combines the colors.
Oh.
And an 8.
Yes.
That's right, people.
I did eat.
I give myself one of these. I was telling Anna before we started that originally we had an intention when we started the podcast that I would do that a lot more, like whenever she uses vocabulary.
What are you talking about? You said that on the podcast.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
I thought it was before we
We
started.
were literally recording, I'm pretty sure.
Are you sure? I don't even
I'm
know
like
what's
almost
happening anymore.
confident that you said that on.
No, I bet you're crazy. We'll find out.
Let us
anyway,
know.
anyway, I think the sad state of affairs is I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to all the words that she uses. So it doesn't I don't think of it as much to go, what the heck did she say? You know what I mean?
I'm basically just like, I'm a part of you.
Yes. Or you have corrupted my mind. That's more like what I like to think of it as. Inception.
Bruh.
Let us know what you think of the movie Inception. I don't think Anna's ever seen it. We'll have to do that someday.
Boring.
Your face is boring.
Oh, he also
No,
made
it's
me,
not, but
you also
look
made
how
me watch
beautiful she
E.T.
is.
Thanks.
Oh, that's right.
Bro, E.T. was horrifying. Absolutely
E.T.
atrocious. This isn't an E.T. episode, but that need to be said because he's a freak.
No, E.T.'s great. Although I will say, I don't think I told you this. E.T. is the movie. It's my earliest childhood memory of seeing a movie in the theater was E.T. And I can remember. So this is about 1982, I think, is when it comes out. So I was 5. And
You're old. Sorry.
yeah, well, we just discussed how I turned 47 on
Sorry.
Sunday.
Sorry.
Jerk. Anyway, and so in the part where he walks into the little cornfield right next to his house and sees E.T. and E.T. starts screaming and he screams, I screamed. So I was just like
Bro, of course
screaming
you
in the
did.
theater. I mean, you
I'm not
know,
even surprised. Yeah, he's such a freak. I'm sorry.
you mean wonderful and cuddly
Nope.
and drunk.
Bro, if I saw that thing, I'm running. I would never go back looking for it. I need therapy, like mental institution. Lock me up.
Okay, well, speaking of therapy and mental institutions, the election was yesterday.
Yes.
Boom.
Good one.
Okay, I got nothing. But anyway, so we thought it would be worthy of talking about. It is something that only happens every 4 years. I was thinking that next presidential election,
I can vote.
somebody over here will be old enough to vote.
Yes.
Boom.
Yes.
Yeah, so Donald Trump beat Kamala Harris last night pretty handily. So Anna's doing a little celebration dance over here.
I'm a little hyped.
Yeah. I'll say this. One of the things that I think is just underappreciated so much living in the country that we do is how we do our elections and just how cool it is that you get to vote. And again, people are super passionate. We can talk about people's reaction in just a second, but I think that the fact that we live in a country where we can vote and have our voice heard is amazing. There are many, many, many places in this world, even today, where that is not true. Even when they quote unquote have elections that, doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you wish you could vote?
Sort of, but then people are going to ask me who I voted for, and I'm not a very good,
Well, you don't have to share that with them.
well, I know, but I'm not someone who can be like, no, I don't want to share.
Yeah.
Because, I'd be mad if someone gave me that answer, but then it's also, I'm scared of confrontation.
Confrontation.
There we go. And I was like, but someone today asked me, they were like, who would you vote for? And I said, well, when I can vote, Trump won't even be able to do another term.
Right.
So ask me whenever we have.
Well, obviously,
candidates.
yeah, it's election by election.
I know. So I just kind of avoided it there.
Nice. Well, and I think that, so let's just say, here in this election, so you've got this particular guy who's been around for the last 3 elections now, Donald Trump, who I would just say is very polarizing. That there are some people who really, really, really love him and some people who really, really, really hate him. And so that makes it harder to talk about. But I don't think it's been that way a lot. That's probably not true. It's probably always been that way.
What do you mean harder to talk about?
Well, just because if somebody who did you vote for? Where you just be able to say, oh, I voted for this person and here are the reasons why I did that. That's actually not that big of a deal.
No, yes, it is.
But it's, okay, what do you mean by yes, it is?
Well, at school today, did not care. Didn't even matter who you voted for. You sat down at the table and they just gave you all the reasons why they were going to die these next 4 years, why their life was over, why if you voted for Trump, you basically don't deserve to live, you don't deserve peace. What's her face? Rachel Zegler, who was the lead in the...
Yeah. She's a new mermaid, right?
No, not quite. She's Snow White.
Oh, that's what I meant. Snow White.
She's Snow White, and she was in the new Hunger Games movie, right? Yeah. She was posted some very horrible things on Instagram today, actually, and it basically said, if you're a Trump supporter or Trump himself, you shall never have peace. And then she used a bunch of other language, but so people take it very personally. You cannot just state your opinion. You will get demolished.
Okay, so this is kind of what I wanted to talk about mostly. So I think that that is our actual problem. I think it's good to have opinions about different policies and people and all that kind of stuff. And you can even be passionate about those opinions. But when somebody has that kind of reaction, a couple of things are wrong. First, I want to talk about practical and then spiritual. Does that sound good?
Period.
And then we can discuss about anything you would want to. So we're going to start with my stuff because I'm old. We just established that.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about your stuff.
Period.
Okay, first let's talk practical. One of the great things about our country is that we have a separation of powers. And I think that one of the reasons that we have a separation of powers is because we have a pretty good worldview foundation from our Constitution, recognizing that I think all men, while created equal, are also fallen and have a bad nature to them. So it's not good to give anybody a lot of power. You got to bust up that power. You got to keep it all separated, which is why we have how many branches of government? Let's do a little test here.
Judiciary.
Okay.
Starts with an L.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Legislative. There we go. And there's 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And legislative, judiciary.
And then the president is a part of the executive branch.
Executive. That's it.
Whoa, yeah, okay. So here we are. We're voting for this person who is the president, whose job it is and the executive branch is to execute, it's right there in the name of the branch, the laws that are made by who? The legislative branch. So the executive branch should not make laws. They're just in charge of appointing people and stuff like that. So it's very important, but it's way should not be as important as people make it because we have other people in the government.
Yeah, everyone's saying that he's making the laws, and I was like, it's still also like
That's not his job.
not his job, and even if it was, like, it has to be approved by so many other people that it's not just him being like, this is what will be done.
Exactly.
Like, it goes through so many stages.
That's
of
the
approval.
beautiful thing. So we want less power to our executive. So I think that's why it probably in the past, let's say, by past, I mean, let's say more than 40 years ago, that it wasn't as big of a deal. People weren't quite as riled up. I think maybe some of that's social media, but I think some of it is because we've slowly given the executive more and more power, and we really need to stop that. We need to take that back and say, hey, our system of government should be in such a way where one person doesn't have that much control. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Okay. So that's the practical side. The spiritual side is that, I'm sorry.
You just touched me.
Oh my
Feet.
gosh. I cannot believe I made contact with
I'm
you.
going to hit you.
Bring it. That'll be our next episode where Anna and I just start
Physical
punching
abuse.
each other.
Nice.
We'll play slaps. We'll see who. So, but from a spiritual standpoint, is that when our hope is in this world and in its systems, it's not that they're not important. And personally, I'm a pastor, so I'm very careful about what kind of advice I give to people. I don't really talk this way from the pulpit much because I think it's my responsibility to be careful with people's consciences and stuff like that. But I would say my personal opinion of the matter is I think it is a good thing for people to participate in our system. Being citizens of the country, we happen to live in a democracy or a representative republic, whatever you want to say. And it's a cool part to kind of love your neighbor by trying to help make the world a better place,
Yes, and my choir director, he was like, I'll never tell you who to vote for, but you should vote because people died for you to be able to have that right to vote.
Yeah, that's really cool. So I agree with that. And so, but if our hope is in the outcomes of those elections, then what it will cause is the freak out that you see online. And I know some people like to laugh at it, but if you just scroll social media today, there's all sorts of people really freaking out. And I'm not even really freaking out. Like I've seen probably 8 to 10 videos of people who are just literally screaming. They're just screaming at the top of their lungs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's nuts. So I would hope that people find something in their lives. Of course, we believe that is our relationship with God is the only ultimate, true, satisfying thing that will bring you peace. That nothing in this world, even if the candidate that you wanted to win, that person's not perfect, the system's not perfect, it's all going to let you down. You know what I mean?
It's almost like what I was reading last night in Ecclesiastes.
Oh, Anna, please tell. Do tell.
I was reading Ecclesiastes 1, for those who don't speak Spanish. And
chapter 1, she knows, yeah.
Oh yeah, chapter 1, not just the verse. And it was talking about how on earth, right, nothing is satisfactory and that it's all pointless and the only thing that matters is what gets you into heaven.
Yeah. So yeah, the idea there of, here's a guy, Solomon, who wrote Ecclesiastes, who was the king. He was the wisest person in the world. He had all the money. He had all the power. He had women. He had anything he wanted. And basically the point of Ecclesiastes is, I tried all of the stuff. I went and tried to find happiness in all of those things, and they all fail you. He calls it vain. It's all vanity to try to seek out those things to be happy. At the end, what was the key verse at the very end of the book? Do you remember? Just basically the idea of what it was about.
It was at the end of the day, the message that you should take from this is that all of it is pointless and that you should fear God and enjoy life.
Yeah, fear God, keep his commands. So like to trust in God. So my hope is that in any kind of relationship, maybe you're listening to this and you happen to be super like emotional about the results of the election, one way or the other. You know, even if you're somebody today who's like so overjoyed and so happy, and you think that you might have been a person screaming had your party lost or whatever your selection, then, you know, to truly try to seek out and say, okay, where is my hope? Where am I going to get peace at the end of the day? And, you know, our point is you need eternal peace. You need something that is beyond just this world, because this world will fail you no matter what it is, no matter how perfect you think the thing will be. It never is.
Got him.
Boom. So, do you have any other thoughts about the election? Anything you wanted to get out there?
I don't know. I think people need to be doing more research.
Yeah.
I think they take things pretty out of context.
Well, that's true. I definitely think from this whole election season, be well read. Don't trust just any source. You need to find a lot of different sources. Listen to a lot of different voices. Go find people that you don't agree with and listen to them. You know.
I know. Hold on, wait, I need to find this guy. Okay, hold on. Wait, keep talking for a second.
Okay. So one of the
Found him.
Oh.
You can keep going. You can keep going.
I had like not even 2 seconds. Well, you go ahead. You found it.
Okay, well, I was saying this guy, his name's Charlie Kirk.
Oh, I love Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Turning Point USA.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like whenever he interviews people on like open mics, and then he'll ask them questions, and they just go, and they just stare at him. He'll be like,
because they don't know.
He'll be like, "Why do you hate this person?" And they'll be like, "Because he's a like, why do you hate Trump?" They'll be like, "Because he's racist." And he'll go, "Give me an example," and they'll go. That's all they can say. It's pretty funny.
Right. So yeah, so make sure that yes, you have reasons for the things that you believe always, no matter what it is. We're not just talking about politics. Always have reasons for the things that you believe.
Amen.
It's okay to question and to go find answers and stuff. Even for things of faith, don't be scared to go like, I don't really understand why this is true. Let's go find out if this thing I believe is true. And, you know, any person and hopefully a good pastor is going to love you through that and help you guide you through that, or friends or people who are in the scriptures or whatever the case may be. You know, go find things. So what I've tried to do in my life is to make sure that I listen. I'm a conservative person, right? That's just my outlook and worldview. But I want to listen to people who are not, so that I understand where they're coming from. And sometimes they make really good points. And sometimes my own views and things change over time because of what I learn or whatever. And then sometimes it's like, no, I'm pretty confident in my position, but I still need to hear, you know, what the other arguments are. And honestly, it makes me better to be able to articulate my opinions.
All these people also, they be saying how much they hate America, but they're still here.
That's right. America's awesome. The fact, how great is it that you can live in a country where you can say that you hate that country and the government's not going to break down your door and, or at least right now, take you away. So ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what I want is freedom. I love freedom. So...
Me too, Father. I think just people need to chill. Because a bunch of people at school today were talking about how, like, they're like, Trump's going to come kill me himself because they're, like, people of color.
Yeah.
Hispanic specifically, they're like, he's going to come kill me himself.
He's
like,
not going to do that.
I was like, bro,
this guy's old, man.
They also were saying that he wants to be, like, a dictator.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, so in an interview, that's a good example. In an interview, he was joking around with someone. He's like, oh, I'm just going to be a dictator for a day. He was talking about the first day to undo all the stuff. And he was joking. He said it in a joking manner. But then people will take that and say, well, you said that you were going to be a dictator. And then they talk about, oh, yeah, he's going to be a dictator. And it's like,
get him out.
Take a joke. You know what I mean?
Legit.
Like, it's fine.
And
let's say, even if he wanted to be a dictator,
he can't.
Our system does not allow for that.
Period.
So, you know what? When he went to trial, do you know where that dude was? He was sitting in the courtroom because that's what our law requires.
Facts.
So,
Wait, I have 2 other things.
yeah.
Why do they call Kamala by her first name and not her last, but they call Trump by his last name? Is that just the thing that's caught on?
Donald, I don't know.
But like, I'm just saying, like, nobody ever has called her Harris. Like, in everything I see,
Harris.
it's always like,
Sometimes I'll see or hear people call her Harris,
you're
but
wrong.
I think probably maybe because it's more of her identity. Like, Kamala is like a very distinctive name, whereas like Donald is, nobody just does that.
Donald.
And Trump was a brand. So, realize that guy has been famous for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
He just wasn't always in politics. Okay.
Another thing about out of context, right? I need to know, is this true or false? Okay.
Okay.
So I saw in a video, right?
Okay.
That Kamala was at, well, I guess there really is no context for this, right? So she was talking at her rally and someone was like, Jesus is king. And she was like, yeah, you're at the wrong rally if you're going to be saying things like that.
Okay. So she did say that. You're at the wrong rally. Wow. Okay. So I don't want to take too much time. Here's one of those things that's really tough. And Mom and I were actually talking about something sort of like this earlier, but on a different subject. So here's somebody is saying Jesus is king, and recently Christ is king has come up as well. There is, that is something we believe. That's a core tenet. But there is a movement where there's some people who hate Jewish people who kind of hijack that as a way to just say the Jews killed Jesus. Jesus is king. That's why you killed him. And it's just really their version of being anti-Semitic. Okay. So that'd be against Jews. So did this person yell, Jesus is king, because he is trying to testify to that truth? So we'll say he's being prophetic. Then bravo to that guy. Is he saying it because he's actually part of this other organization that hates Jewish people? Then, that might be. So I will give her the benefit of the doubt. She doesn't know what direction she's coming from. Where now she could have turned it on its head, sort of like J.D. Vance. Somebody did that at one of Speaking J.D. Vance is dead. And he goes, that's absolutely right. Christ is king. And, Jesus is king. And then he just moved on. So, you can always, as a speaker, you always just have these moments where you're trying to decide, what am I going to do with this?
She said, you're at the wrong rally.
Yeah. She said, get out of here.
Good one.
So anyway, but yeah, Trump is now the president. Isn't that crazy? Our first week of doing the podcast is when that assassination attempt happened
and now
on
he's
him.
president.
Man, what a crazy
What a
couple
life.
of months.
The Simpsons were finally wrong. No, have you seen this, Dad? Do you know the show The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Right, there's this thing that they've predicted a bunch of major events in the world. People have just videos of times they predicted it.
Yeah.
And for this election specifically, it was a woman president. And everyone was like, oh, she's going to win because The Simpsons predicted it. Because they even predicted one of the presidents getting shot in an episode. Their episodes, first of all, are just whack. But,
Yeah.
And they said woman president. And Simpsons, you are wrong.
Wow. Way to go, Simpsons. Stupid.
Oh, I've literally never seen The Simpsons. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's been on for 30 years. It's pretty crazy.
Future predictor.
Yeah. So one thing I did find out.
Oh, no.
I thought I would. So Pennsylvania was one of the close swing states.
Oh, yeah.
And it went pretty heavily for Trump, surprisingly. And do you know who got a big credit for one of those counties? The Amish.
Pro.
The
No.
Amish turned out for Trump.
I hate the Amish. I don't hate anybody. I strongly have concerns for the Amish. Wait, also, Dad, are you allowed to? Okay, I guess it makes sense. But okay, so this person, follow on Instagram, right? She's actor, pretty big actor, right?
Uh-huh.
She posted and was flying to North Carolina because it's a swing state, right?
Uh-huh.
Because their vote matters more than California's does. But
Right.
they live in California. Can you do that?
Well, she's not going there to vote. She's going there to do rallies and try to pump people up and try to get them to vote.
Are you
Instead
sure?
of doing that in her own state.
Are you positive?
Well, I mean, I assume you have to be registered to vote. You can't just show up in a place.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So I think even though she
it's not
didn't
there.
say that's what she meant, that's
She
probably
was
what she meant.
flying to vote in North Carolina because that swing state's vote matters more than California's.
Yeah, that's she's not allowed to do that. You can't
Get
be
her out.
registered in 2 places.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But that, like, can you not vote in California but go and
No.
Yeah.
I mean, she would have to be registered. Now, if that's her home address is North Carolina and that's where she's registered, but she, you can do that.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
But I think you'd have to prove that you
Have a
spend
residence?
51% of your time there. I think you have to spend more than half of your time in that place. So not only do you have a residence there, but it's the dominant place where you spend time.
Yeah. Should be capping that.
I don't really know exactly that rule, but
I'm
anyway.
coming for her.
If you have other political questions you'd like to discuss, send them our way.
Oh.
We know you won't.
Yeah, I don't even know why we bother anymore.
I know.
Like, I'm just going to start saying, stop sending me things. Because literally, y'all can see us in person, text, message, email, YouTube. Actually, did we check YouTube comments? Speechless. So what if they're like,
I'm pretty sure we get emails.
And then
I'm pretty sure we get emails if someone does. Now, whether or
That's
not
not
we check
all
our
the time true.
emails.
Yeah, see y'all next week.
Oh, what if this whole time people have been spamming us with stuff and we just
And then we
have
just
missed it?
aren't looking and we're like, y'all suck.
Also, we are terrible at social media. Like,
I know, I'm so bad, but I'm sorry.
like posting our stuff. So if you would like a charitable thing to do out of the kindness of your heart, if you want to manage our social media,
Literally just post once a week, twice if you're feeling lucky, but like
yeah, just like grab our links and throw them out there to people.
Links, grab a screenshot or a picture that relates, post a good caption, add the hashtags. Literally, that's all I do. But like, it's so hard for me too. I have so many other things I'm doing. Bro.
Yeah.
I'm about to go do like 8 pages of homework.
I actually also asked somebody the other day if they wanted to start a podcast. Can you imagine if I was doing 2 podcasts?
Yeah. Get out of here, bro.
I don't know. What's wrong with me?
A lot of things.
Exactly. All right. We have talked long enough. So congratulations, America. We have successfully had another election. The country did not burn down. We will persevere.
Life will be normal tomorrow. Y'all are fine.
And in 4 years, we'll do it all again. No matter what anyone says, we know there was people on both sides who said this might be the last election of our lifetime. They were exaggerating and lying. We will do it all again because that's America, baby.
Yeah. Woo.
Love America.
Oh, wait.
Also, I love Texas.
Me too. Y'all are such haters because, like, talking about moving to Canada, but Canada ain't all that. I'm not going to lie.
We'll have to visit Canada. They do have half of Niagara Falls, so that's kind of cool.
Half. Can't even get the full.
But it is the better part. I really enjoyed visiting the Canadian side of the Niagara Falls.
Okay, but, like, what else do you do there?
I don't know.
Yeah, bye.
Okay. Peace out, people.
Bye. Thank you for listening. Who You Callin' Bruh is a Jam Pastor Jay production. All writing, content, and production is done by Jay and Anna Beerley.
Our opening and closing track is Feel It by Matias Ruiz. You can find more wonderful tracks at worshipstart.com. This podcast is hosted on Substack at jampastorj.substack.com.